Hey guys, Jay here. Welcome to Models Memories Weekly, episode 123. Models Memories is a show about nothing and is filmed in front of a live studio audience. This is a show where I talk about my painting, modeling, and wargaming experiences from the week. Now you might be thinking to yourself, Jay, you put out 3 videos a week and you stream twice a week. Ow! Could I possibly have more to say? Well, I do, and here goes. This week, Games Workshop came out with some more Necromunda squats, which gives me some bright ideas for probably my worst army right now, the Genestealer Cult, certainly the most pathetic. And I have been absolutely crushing it in 10th edition Warhammer 40,000, and by crushing it, I mean getting absolutely demolished. The Leagues of Votann are the newest faction for Warhammer 40,000. The squats are back from their 30-year break of just being not in Warhammer 40,000, and I do kind of like them. I didn't initially fall in love with them when they were first being revealed, but over the course of time and after reading the codex, I find I really like them. They're much more kind of realistic sci-fi than almost anything else in Warhammer 40,000, and it really does feel like speculative evolution or speculative history of like the human race, as opposed to just like Tyranids or big bugs from outer space. So I really like them, and I might like the Necromunda squats a little bit more than the Leagues of Votann. Even though they both exist in the same 40k universe, they're kind of offshoots from one another. As a reminder of the squats from Necromunda, these guys are the current gang, and I love them. They're much more, they're not more punky, but they're more utilitarian. They're a little bit Genestealer Cult in their design, where they are wearing suits with like rivets and hoses and like accordion style arms, which are absolutely hilarious. They're kind of like the robot from Lost in Space. Danger, Will Robinson. Like, they kind of have those sorts of vibes going on. And of course, the giant football helmets, which I absolutely love. These guys are really fun and are kind of what I would like to see somebody do with the Votann. The Games Workshop paint style for them is very clean and a little bit kind of like cyberpunk Japanesey, I guess. A little bit Weyland-Yutani from like the Alien universe, but I would love to see like gruff, nasty miners who are just covered in grease and oil and coal. I think that could actually be a really interesting look, and it gave me some ideas for my Genestealer Cult army. But yeah, I really like these guys in Necromunda, which I have now played, and it's a very excellent game. I really like it. And of course, they have a unit that I think is actually better than any of the Votann's units, and that is the Exo Armor Suit. The Ironhead Squat Prospector Vartajan Exo Driller. This thing is straight up BioShock, and I absolutely love it. I can't believe that the Votann don't actually have like a Dreadnought or Sentinel type unit. Like, that's like one of the most basic things in all of 40Ks. You need your medium vehicle, and currently they don't really have one. I think this guy fits the bill perfectly, although he doesn't have rules for big 40K yet. He is lovely. He is doing his best, and I absolutely love it. And I love that everything kind of looks like engine blocks, like everything is big slabs of cast metal that are bolted together. It's a really great look, and a little bit more unique than maybe the current Votann units. And the brand new unit for Necromunda is no different. Behold the Techmite Autovoyeur and the Squat Claim Jumper who handles it. He's so good. He's so good. Number 1, good girth, really good girth. I love a fat guy. There's not enough chunky fellas in Warhammer 40,000. There's like a couple in Adeptus Mechanicus. There's one for the Black Templar, and I absolutely love him, the Castellan. These guys are so much fun. Just big, chunky, power fist, big robot arm, a literal power pick, where like the chisel and the spike are both like electrified of however magical power weapons work in Warhammer 40,000. And the little robot has little tiny feetsies and little welding hands. It is absolutely adorable. So much fun. Gosh, the Necromunda models are so gorgeous. Some of the very original ones, like Goliath and Escher, are a little bit showing their age, although I think it has a little bit more to do with the Games Workshop paint job from 2017 than it does with the actual sculpts, because I have some of them in person and they look pretty good. But man, does this guy look fun. Just a big, chunky fella. And as much as I love this model, it really gave me some ideas for my least favorite army in my collection right now, my Genestealer Cult. I started collecting them right when they came out with Deathwatch Overkill. I bought 2 boxes of that. I have a pretty sprawling army with tons of neophytes and acolytes, pretty much everything you could possibly want, 30 Genestealers. Terrible terrible job with the army. Like I tried to follow the Games Workshop color scheme, the Games Workshop box art, but I cut all the corners because who's gonna paint them all? Like they're all painted to like a character level on the Games Workshop web store. They really went above and beyond. And what I think I wanna do with that army, because I've almost been considering selling it just because I'm really not happy with it. I'm not happy with how it turned out. I don't know how to move forward on it. And I think what I might do is just buy a whole bunch of Necromunda gangs and kit bash those into the cult, because I read the book Day of Ascension, which is absolutely phenomenal and makes you fall in love with the cult and see them as like scrappy underdogs as opposed to brainwashed cultists, which is technically what they actually are. And I think that making them kind of ramshackle and really, really unique would actually make me fall in love with the army again. Because right now it's just a whole bunch of miners and some Imperial Guard units. And they don't really gel together very well. I also have like 3 different color schemes going on throughout the army because I've been trying to figure out how to paint them properly. But I think an actual mixture of different models and different poses and different like types of models, like there could be Votann in the army and they're just part of the cults because, you know, Imperium societies, they may not be, you know, the most inclusive thing in the whole world, but there's all sorts of different groups living together. And so I think that's what I might do to try to fall in love with the army and really make it my own and hopefully make it much easier to paint. If I'm just gonna shove so much dirty down rust and verdigris and gunk all over their clothing and armor, and then maybe try really hard on like their hands and faces, I think that could be a really, really cool look and help to gel some of the things that do look a little bit odd, like the Atlan Jackals, the little like RC cars of the Genestealer cults. 3 of those guys right next to each other kind of looks like a fleet of Batmobiles. You know, maybe I'll actually like find some STLs or kit bash some actual toy cars to be those different things. Because really what those are is just civilian vehicles. Like they're mom vans. Like one of those things could be a mom van with a hole cut in the roof with a gun sticking out of it, barreling towards the enemy, because the Genestealer cult are not an army at all. They are regular folks who in one moment of one day, they decide to take over the entire planet. And all of a sudden, all hell breaks loose. And so that's kind of what I want to represent in my army. Not an entire army of miners who are all wearing their miner equipment still, but just like civilians absolutely charging at the status quo so that they can get a planet ready for annihilation from the Tyrannid. Although to them, it's ascension to a higher form of being, and that is tentacly monster Tyrannids, but that's kind of my plan going forward for my Genestealer Cult army. I'm not gonna sell it. I'm gonna change every single thing about it, painting over many, many layers of paint because I don't strip models. I don't like to do it. But that's this Necromunda squat. Just a little squat fella just gave me miles of ideas of why I actually do like this army quite a bit and why I want to move forward on it. So good old Necromunda, a really, really great game with some unbelievably great models and a really cute little robot dude. But speaking of really cute little robot dudes, I have been playing as much 40k as I possibly can, and I want to get good at 40k. I want to actually be good at 40k. I've played so much 40k in 6th edition, 7th edition, 8th edition, never been good at it, but I want to be good at it now. And I've been playing games and getting absolutely stomped. And my last game against Sean was probably the worst defeat yet. He was bringing his Imperial Guard, the Astra Militarum. I was bringing my Tyrannids, which I'm a brand new Tyrannid player, never read a Tyrannid Codex before, but now I'm actually playing them in the game and I'm having so much fun doing it. But my turn in turn 3, I had no units left on the board and Sean had all of his units left on the board. It was an absolute stomping. Now, I don't think my Tyrannid list is that great. It's basically 2 boxes of Leviathan and a Trigon, and everything is very, very squishy. And I think the Earthshaker cannon from the Imperial Guard Codex is way, way too good. I mean, it's D6 plus 3 blast, so really it's like D6 plus 7 sometimes. Strength 8, hitting on 2s, rerolling 1s because of Lord Solar Leonidas, Horse Lord, and some Scout Sentinels, and then wounding on 2s, it's just delete, delete, delete. And so I bought some more Tyranid models. They're on their way. I'm retooling my Tyranid list. It's eventually going to be a sprawling behemoth bug fleet. But right now I'm tooling up my Black Templar. And I'm so nervous because I've always been bad at my Necrons. I love them dearly, but I've always been bad at playing my Necrons. I'm a brand new Tyranid player. I feel like it's okay that I'm making some mistakes, but I am the Black Templar guy. I love my Black Templar. I own 10,000 points of Black Templar, hundreds of games. I can't lose horribly with my Black Templar. But I'm so nervous to go up against this indirect fire parking lot guard list. It's gonna be an absolutely brutal slog, but that's kind of what I love about 40K. I kind of love that it's a hot mess and that it's very, very hard. Because recently I've also been playing Shatterpoint from Atomic Mass Games, a really, really fun game, but I have a really terrible criticism of the game, and that is that it works too well. Like, the game works, you pick your units from whatever Star Wars characters you want, and then you put them on the battlefield. There's 9 objectives on the board, and you pull cards to see which objectives are active this turn. And the fact that the game works so well kind of makes me not want to play it, because I almost feel like I take my models, you take your models, and one of us is gonna win. And it doesn't initiate that competitiveness. It doesn't initiate my try-hardness where I really, really want to win, because the game just functions so well, where 40K does not. And so now I'm excited, I'm list building, I'm tailoring, I'm reading my opponent's rules, I'm reading my rules, I'm trying to see what exactly can I do to try to make this work and not just get Earthshaker cannoned off the board, which, as if the Earthshaker cannon wasn't good enough, the Earthshaker rule means that even if anything happens to survive, which it probably won't, then it's super slow for the rest of the turn, which is brutally difficult for a close combat focused army like the Black Templar, because now I'm moving 2 less inches in my movement phase, getting 2 less inches for my advance, 2 less inches for my charge. All of a sudden, my guys aren't going anywhere. But I'm ready. I am ready for that challenge. I've got some new units to try out, almost all new units. A lot of my old squatty Marines are coming in for this battle, but I recently finished some models that will hopefully make an appearance in this game. Merrick Beverly Grimaldus, Reclusiarch of the Black Templar and the hero of Hell's Reach, and one of the most badass miniatures that I have ever seen in my entire life. And I also finished the Sword Brethren. And by Sword Brethren, I mean Emperor's Champion. He has a sword, I got confused. But I'm loving Black Templar now. I've played Black Templar for years and years, and they've always sucked. But now that they've been Primersified and they have some new rules and a new codex and a new index, they're looking really, really strong. I don't know how well they'll fare against the Earthshaker battle cannons. In fact, I did the math and they won't, unless I bring lots and lots of vehicles. But I'm still very, very excited. For Grimaldus, I painted this guy up live on camera, actually, over on Twitch. By the way, we stream on Twitch every Tuesday and Thursday from 5:30 to 8 p.m. Central Time. Come hang out and see cool stuff like this get painted and argue ferociously about Star Wars. But I was painting this guy until about 11:45 at night, and then I instantly dropped him and broke off his Crozius and I glued it back on. It's not completely straight and it really bothers me, but what are you gonna do? I love this guy. Also, his rules are absolutely phenomenal. He is tailor-made for the Black Templar. He makes Crusader squads and Sword Brethren squads so much better. He has 3 little servitors that follow him around, and he desperately needs those because he's only a 4 wound character. And so he can get killed really, really easily, but luckily those servitors bump him up a little bit more with the wounds. I really like this guy. This guy is going to be for sure coming in my army. The Emperor's Champion is also excellent. He can kill almost anything in 1 round of close combat. The problem is he's expensive. At 90 points, for not that many more points, I can take a Grimaldus or a Helbrecht, and it's probably more worth it because they have better synergies with the other Black Templar units, especially at the 1,000-point incursion level games that I've been playing, which I really like. The game actually plays pretty fast, especially when I get tabled as fast as I've been getting tabled. The games move so quickly, but I don't know if he's gonna make it into 1,000-point lists. I'm excited to try out some 2,000-point lists, the standard version of Warhammer 40,000, so that I have a little bit more points to splash out on really big, powerful things like Land Raiders or Helbrecht or some of the more expensive things available to my army. Because man, at 1,000 points, it is you add one thing, oh no, I'm 50 points over, you take it away, you try to add another thing, I'm 40 points over, you take it away. It's really hard to get some of those low model units. And I'm very scared for the future of the Space Marines. It'll be really interesting to see what happens when their codex comes out, because they are squatting a lot of the older range of models. And that older range of models has the cheap stuff that you use to help fill out your army, especially in those low point games to help get bodies on the battlefield. You desperately need those. And if those all go away and are replaced by the new awesome Primaris units that have way too many guns and because of that are way, way expensive, it's gonna be a real challenge to build some really good Space Marine lists. Because of the list I'm building, I'm taking a lot of old stuff. I also own a lot of old stuff and I wanna play with the old stuff. So really looking forward to getting these guys on the table. Definitely Grimaldus. Reclusiarch Marek Beverly Grimaldus. I always like to use his full title because it sounds awesome. And maybe this guy if I ever get around to playing some higher point games. But 10th edition Warhammer 40,000 is shaping up to be really, really fun. A little bit of a hot mess, but Warhammer 40,000 has always been an absolute disaster and I absolutely love it. And that's why I like it. That's why I want to get good and I want to try hard and I want to win. And it's just, I'm spending my evenings burning my eyes out, staring at my laptop, reading all of these index after index after index so that I can just know, because it's that disaster that makes it better than a video game. Video games just work. They do everything for you. And that's why they're like drugs, basically. I love video games. Unbelievably fun. But there's something to the challenge, to the puzzle of tabletop wargaming, specifically Warhammer 40,000, where you have to do it all yourself. You have to come up with everything yourself. You have to learn all the rules and actually use them in game by yourself. And that challenge is really what makes it really, really fun to me. Also, if any of you guys are going up against Parking Lot Guard, please leave a comment below of some ideas and strategies. I tried to pop I popped my Trigon up right next to his tanks, but unfortunately, the only deployment I had to use the Trigon special ability where he can pop up within 3 inches of an enemy unit, but then he's not available to charge in that turn where he arrives. And so he just got blasted off the board, along with all of my other big bugs that just got blasted off the board. They just don't have enough staying power. And I'm definitely working on it. I've got some Venomthropes on the way that can provide stealth and cover to a lot of my units. I'm working on a second Psychophage, which might be worth it, might not. 5-up feel, or a 6-up feel no pain is a very powerful ability, but really, praying to roll a 6 for a save and then praying to roll a 6 for a feel no pain save is not necessarily something to be relied on. So I am doing my best. And I'm having tons and tons of fun. I haven't played any 40K in all of 9th edition. I just fell in love with Kill Team too hard and I had absolutely no time to spare for a big old game in 9th edition 40K, but 10th edition, I am making it happen. I'm gonna get good. I don't know if I'll ever do tournaments. I'd like to try. I definitely would like to try. I see other people doing tournaments and they're having a great time. I love Auspex Tactics. He uploads a video every, I think, 24 minutes and they're all absolute bangers going through all of the rules for the game. Good old 10th edition. I'm gonna beat Sean. I'm saying it now, I'm gonna beat Sean, and then I'm gonna come back next week, and you guys are gonna hear me talk all about this game where I absolutely wiped the floor with Sean. It's definitely gonna happen. It is an absolute sure thing, and you know what else is an absolute sure thing? That's right, our Patreon. Over there, we have brand new terrain every single month, and this month we have the Alien Hive Colony, an entire battlefield full of beautiful, alien, disgusting, bioengineered walls. We also make one episode of Eons of Battle every single week where we take a look at our viewers' miniatures and give some ideas and critiques of how to improve their painting. We host live Discord hangouts, and as previously mentioned, we're on Twitch. I'm pumped for 10th edition. I am painting like 70 hours a week. It is absolutely awesome. And I am excited to work on my Genestealer Cult, which is something that I wouldn't have said before seeing that Necromunda squat model. Really exciting stuff. Thanks for watching.